And I'm back with more Apollo Justice Trilogy. So let's see what we can do. We made it through the first part of Turnabout Trump. Phoenix Wright is on trial for some cards, for a card game he did. And apparently he smacked his victim silly, but we're going to try and get him off the hook. So we dealt with Olga Orly, and we're trying to deal with her again. Has our witness Olga Orly recovered?
Yes, Your Honor. She's regained consciousness.
Perhaps we can hear her version of events again.
That's the thing. You see, she's quite fatigued.
You're looking a bit fatigued yourself, Mr. Payne. Sadly, fatigue is insufficient grounds for refusing to testify or prosecute. The defense would like to request that Miss Orly take the stand. Very well. The witness will take the stand. Oh, dang. Perhaps you could repeat your name and profession. Or perhaps you'd rather admit that you're a poor liar and a poor loser. Not. Name's Olga Orly. That's the truth. I'm a pro dealer. People call me Quick Fingers Orly. Huh? Oh, really? I wonder if they really made this just to make that pun. Want to know something else? I'm not really Russian. I think we get it, lady. There. That's the truth. I hope you're satisfied. Witness! You will testify to the court what really happened that night. Fine. I'll talk. We had a plan, see? Let me remind you that you're currently under oath. Any further fabrications will have serious consequences. Fine. Like I said, I'm a pro. And that guy Smith hired me to do what I do best. I was planted at the Borscht Bowl Club several days prior to the night of the game. As a waitress. So you were in cahoots with the victim? Not that he needed my help. He's a well-known poker player in some circles. But winning wasn't the main purpose of the game. It was about destroying a legend. The unbeatable Phoenix Wright. The plan was simple. It's elegant, really. You see, we set up a trap. I was to plant a card in Wright's pocket beforehand, and then deal 5 aces during one of their games. When their hands were revealed, Smith could search him. He would then pull out the planted card and the trap would snap shut. You swapped the cards! Exposed as a cheater and losing on top of it, it would have been a great double play. Just like that, the legend would be dashed to pieces. Indeed, getting caught red-handed at cheating would cast doubt on all his prior wins. A 7-year legend destroyed by one little card. That was the plan. Oh, really? How droll. But it appears you made quite the mistake. The mistake? I agree, the trap was elegant. Yet what happened to that planted card? Hey, that's right! He's lucky, I'll give him that. You'd have to be to slip free from a trap laid by Quick Fingers. We get it, game. The witness would be so much cuter if she dispensed with the evil mastermind shtick. Cute? Who wants to be cute? I'm not cute. I'm bad, you hear me? I'm bad! When you're through being bad, could you testify to the court? Tell us about this trap and how it was sprung. I'm bad. That night, I planted the card like I was supposed to. And Wright lost the last hand just like he was supposed to. Then Smith searched him. But the planted card was gone. The trap failed. Next moment, he picked up a bottle and swung it. It wasn't me who hit Smith. It was a no-good cheating defendant. A surprisingly frank testimony that leaves us mostly in the dark. The trap was perfect, I tell you, perfect! If that rotten cheater hadn't messed it up. Look who's talking! Well, testimony, for all it's worth, is all yours, Mr. Justice. With witnesses like her, who needs criminals? And with defendants like Mr. Wright, who needs prosecution? Wait, isn't that a little odd? What's odd? You searched Mr. Wright thoroughly and found nothing? Which means he didn't cheat. This means he had no reason to strike the victim. Well... Uh-oh. Huh? What was that just now? I sensed something. Something wrong, Mr. Justice? Nothing, Your Honor. What to do? Should I press her a little harder? Miss Orly, you're hiding something. What are you talking about? You? Me? Quick Figure's Orly hiding something? The defense will refrain from baseless accusation. I have one question for the witness then. You say you saw the moment the defendant hit the victim. Is that true? Of course it's true. I did see it, honest. I saw it when Mr. Wright hit him. Huh? With my own eyes, I saw it. What's this weird vibe I'm getting? That witness. She would touch the back of her neck during certain parts of the testimony. Did you notice? Touching her neck, was it? Ugh. Hmm? Whoa, what's going on? Sensation. It's coming into focus. There, that twitch. It's so clear. It's like I could perceive her habit like I could never before.
Gotcha!
Miss Orly, perhaps you're unaware of this yourself? Unaware of what? Whenever you get to a certain part of your testimony, you touch the back of your neck with your left hand. Huh? My neck? So what? What indeed, Justice? I didn't notice anything of the sort. When she says that part of her testimony, she's subconsciously recalling something. Her body reacts to the memory when she touches her neck. I'm sure of it. A memory? Would someone kindly explain what he's babbling about? That is highly unusual. But let's ask the defense. You claim the witness is remembering something. Maybe you have evidence to this memory to show us. Her habit of scratching her neck whenever she talks about that crime. What would remind her of that moment? Miss Orly, whenever you recall the crime that night, you scratch your neck. What happens at notice when you think about the moment of the crime? There must be some reason behind this habit of yours. I believe the weapon that left an inerasable impression upon your neck is this.
Take that!
Whenever she talks about the moment of the crime, she touches her neck. And what reminds us more of that moment than this bottle? The murder weapon! Huh? But something else doesn't fit. If you were only the witness of the crime, why would it make you touch your neck in pain? What's he talking about now? It was Mr. Smith, the victim, who was hit. Not you. This is a cross-examination, not a cross-wild conjecture. The witness... her habits? That's completely irrelevant. Justice? I'll admit I'm a bit confused myself. This is certainly a unique cross-examination. I'll explain later. Just trust me. Now's our only chance to break her. Miss Orly, please testify in detail about the moment of the crime. The very moment. I know nothing. We know you're not Russian. The witness will testify now. Fine.
Hold it!
You mean uneasy? You try standing up here. Her eyes are darting all over the place. You must be getting warm. Tell me, after the crime, what was the defendant like? Well, he must have been stunned by the weight of his crime. He sat in a daze at the table until the cops came. Intriguing. I believe you've gotten all the testimony you're going to get out of this witness. So what do you think about her testimony? And I'll tell you what I think. Her testimony is flawed. It's basically bogus. It contradicts evidence. Oh, what's that? Well, show us this evidence, Mr. Justice. The evidence you claim contradicts the testimony. She didn't let him out of her sight until the cops got there? I know there's some evidence that contradicts that.
Take that!
Miss Orly, we have a record here that clearly contradicts what you said. It states that the police were alerted by a report by the defendant. Huh? And we know that the defendant left the room, climbed the stairs, and made the phone call from the first floor Boars Club. So, explain how you kept your eyes on the defendant when he left the room entirely. Oh! Oh shit, don't blind yourself, lady. Uh-oh. The man who picked up a bottle and swung it wasn't the defendant. You dirty cheat! Check his pockets, now! It's gone! The card's gone! You lose. Huh? Just then, Smith grabbed the bottle right next to right, and he hit me! You, some master of cheating you turned out to be! When I came to, the victim was already dead. Wait, the victim was already dead, is that it? That's why I couldn't reveal who I really was. If I came out that I was in league with Smith, I'd be a suspect for sure. Well, where does that leave us? It's madness! I'm dreaming! It must have been me who was hit with a bottle, and I'm imagining all this. It appears our prosecution is at its wit's end, and frankly, I can't blame him. Mr. Gavin, what do you think about this turn of events? Mr. Gavin, sir? I believe that, as the defense in this case, we are compelled to call Miss Orly a big, fat liar. What? three were in the room the night of the murder. The defendant, victim, and her. And she has a motive. A motive? Her plot failed. Or foiled. The witness got into an argument with her client, Mrs. Smith, Mr. Smith, and the denouement of the argument was murder. What? I didn't! I'm no killer! It's a trap! Someone's trying to frame me! What tangled webs we weave when we practice to deceive. So tangled we catch ourselves in the process. Mr. Wright! Such a hasty conclusion. It's not like you, Christoph Gavin. What are you saying? Why not consider the other possibility? That there was another person in the room at the time of the murder. Right, like Mr. Wright was saying before recess. A single card was swapped in the victim's hand after the murder. And the one who swapped the card didn't know two colors were being used. A fourth person. Huh? This theory again! Your fourth person doesn't exist! Indeed. That's why I decided to bring this case to court. Where there's no escape. No chance for deception. The perfect place to catch the real criminal. The real criminal? And we're in luck. A clue to the real criminal's identity was kindly provided for us. And right at the beginning of the trial, no less. What? Apollo, perhaps you know what I'm talking about. Huh? Sorry? Remember what I said. The fourth person who swapped the cards made one critical error. He or she wasn't considering the color of the backs of the cards. Right. But how could such an obvious mistake occur? The cards used for the last game were red. Yet there's one person, here in our court, who thought those cards were blue. I had that impression too, but why? Well, Apollo, think you can figure out who it was? It's not me, I swear! Who is this fourth person? Why do I always get to put on the spot like this? Let's hear what the defense has to say. Who was it? Who thought the cards used in the final game were blue?
Take that!
As I expected. Your eyes and ears are as sharp as your hair. I was right? Christoph Gavin, you were the fourth person tonight. But of course he knows the color of the cards. How would he? As you can see, the photo of the crime scene is black and white. You can't tell which cards are blue, the ones on the floor or the table. But look! You can see the colors in the photo! Yeah, but when he said the cards were blue, it was well before this evidence came to light. He pulled a Furio Tigre, forcing words out of him. Interesting. Well, Christoph? Mr. Gavin? Mr. Gavin, is something the matter? Huh? No, nothing. Excuse me, it's just so sudden. Right, you weren't seriously accusing me, are you? Oh, Christoph? You know I'd never take a joke that far. This has gone beyond ridiculous, beyond dumb. This is insanity. The defendant accusing his own defense attorney for murder? I assure you I'm quite sane. But what possible connection could Mr. Gavin have to the victim? I wasn't aware that I had a connection to Mr. Smith either. Yes, but Mr. Gavin and the victim have never met. Well, what if they have? Huh? There's a possibility, after all. They may have met that night before the game started. What are you suggesting? Is this the truth you were staying silent about? Well, guess there's only one thing to do. Mr. Wright, the defense would like to... What? The defense would request no such thing. Mr. Gavin? Testimonies must relate to the case. How could anything happening before the game of poker be related? I'm not sure I follow, Mr. Gavin. As I explained before, the defense believes that Miss Orly. Am I to assume that you speak for Mr. Justice in this? He's the defense, not you. Huh? Mr. Justice, the matter of Mr. Wright's testimony is up to you. Okay. Does the court, in your opinion, need to hear Mr. Wright's testimony? That was Mr. Wright's strategy. He was planning this all along. And I intend to see it through. The defense would like to request that Mr. Wright testify to court. It too, Justice? You would betray me, your teacher. I'm sorry, Mr. Gavin, this isn't about loyalty. This is about the truth. Very well, the defendant will take the stand. Uh-oh. That evening, Christoph and I had dinner. We sat at the table in the photograph. Shady Smith walked in 5 minutes after Christoph left. When the trap failed, Smith hit the waitress. The girl was knocked out cold and Smith was uncontrollable. I left to call the police. When I returned, he was dead, blood streaming from a cut in his forehead. That's when I made another phone call to defense attorney Gavin. Mr. Gavin! You were at the Borscht Bowl Club the night of the murder? I dine with him rather frequently. And he talked to the defendant on the phone directly after the murder? Quite against my will, I had become involved in a murder. I thought I might be needing a lawyer, so I called him. You were planning this all along, weren't you, Wright? Just because you wanted to drag me into your little murder trial. The only thing I want is the truth, as I did back then, and now. Excuse me. I thought my office was doing you a favor when taking on your defense. It appears that I was wrong. Very well, the defense may cross-examine the witness. Justice. Sir? He's lying, and you're going to expose him. Understood, sir. Ugh. This can't end well. Why can't I have a normal trial? Buddy, you're gonna be at this for 3 games, so just get comfortable.
Hold it!
About this failed trap. It's the same one that Miss Olga Orly mentioned? Yeah, a harmless prank in essence. It was by a quirk of fate I happened to discover it. A quirk? I happened to put my hand in my pocket and I found a card. The card she planted! Yeah, I snuck a peek at it and it was the 5 of hearts. I had a feeling something might happen, so I disposed of it. Before the game. Disposed? Where? It was an empty bottle of grape juice I'd been drinking right beside me. I threw the card inside the bottle. An empty bottle of grape juice? The murder weapon! Yeah, I rolled it up and shoved it in. Colored glass makes it hard to see. A battle of wits between the deceiver and would-be deceived. That sounds like terrific drama. A card inside the murder weapon, but that's strange. Did the police miss it in their investigation? Maybe I'll take a look. Mr. Wright, the poker head of courtroom number 3 approves this battle of wits. Please revise your testimony with this new information. The bottle's completely empty.
Objection!
Mr. Wright, if I may? Yeah? I examined the bottle. I don't see a card in there. No? What? Mr. Wright, surely isn't all that... Surely isn't all you have to say for yourself. Surely isn't all you have to say for yourself. I can't say I know what happened to it. I did put it in a bottle. Perhaps a 5th person came to take it out. Or maybe a 6th person could have helped. Mr. Gavin, Mr. Wright is your client. My apologies. I won't have you disparaging my investigation either. We looked inside that bottle, there was nothing. So what's going on? Is Mr. Wright hoodwinking us again? Did the card just disappear? In any case, please continue the cross-examination. I'm afraid decisive contradictions call for decisive evidence. Oh. Push him harder, Justice. Break him. It's just you and the witness in the ring. Go for the KO. Why do I get the feeling we're not on the client's side anymore? Mr. Wright, if I may. Yeah? Take a look at the photograph of the crime scene. See the victim here? He was wearing a hat. I wouldn't think you could see blood on his forehead. Good point. Justice. Next time you point out an inconsistency, put a little more oomph into it. Mr. Wright, can you explain this? I forgot to mention something. I was the one who put that hat on his head. What? You put the hat on a dead man's head? He wore it through our entire poker game. After calling the police when I returned to the scene, his head was in full view. Shining bright, just like the photograph. And I picked his hat up off his head, off the floor, and put it on his head. Why'd you do such a thing like that? All I can say is I'm sorry. But that's the only thing I touched in the crime scene. So Miss Orly didn't even see it? It being the victim's... his head? I think not. She was out cold. I believe I was the only one who witnessed his head. Here we go again. Mr. Gavin? Pardon. It just seems that our client is determined to lie his way through this case. He's still our client, isn't he? I believe that's enough of that. Mr. Gavin? The witness's testimony is more like a travesty. It's riddled with lies. I'm beginning to see how you came to lose your attorney's badge 7 years ago. Well, you certainly have a unique way of treating your clients, Kristoff. I never knew. I believe it was you who threw the first stone. Mr. Wright, if you intend to ever tell the truth about this case, it's now or never. Don't be misled. I haven't told a single lie here. What? When I noticed the trap, I put the card in the bottle to dispose of it. And when I put the hat on the victim's head, let's just say I had a reason for doing that as well. A reason? That reason's right here. Your cell phone? That's right. Or that night. Recall that I spoke to Defense Attorney Gavin after calling the police. Just in case I recorded our conversation. What's this? Now that we're all here, I see no reason why I shouldn't play it back. Kristoff, I seem to be in a bit of trouble. What's this? Game not going well? Something like that. A gentleman who challenged you. He turned out to be good. He turned out to be dead. Someone hit him hard. You mean someone cracked the flawless bone china pate? It wasn't you, was it? Me? Please. Cops should be here any minute. I'm in your hands, should it come to that. Bone china plate. Kind of porcelain, very smooth and shiny. And not plate, but pate. I believe he was referring to that certain gentleman's balding forehead. Or pate, I guess. I was saying pate is in the duck liver stuff. But pate, I guess. The court appreciates the defendant's discretion in not indicating my forehead. Wait a minute. Something's not right about that phone call. So after Mr. Gavin ate dinner, he left the Borscht Bowl Club? Most certainly. Then, how did he know? When did he see this bone china plate? Or pate? Oh, that's right. Yeah. That was when I began to see my good friend in a different light. Troubled, I returned to the crime scene. And when I spotted his head again, I realized exactly what was wrong. Well, Mr. Gavin, the stage has been set. Perhaps you'd like to explain this to the court? Exactly how did you come to know to the privileged knowledge of the victim's head? So, this is your reason? The reason why you put the victim's hat back on? Your point, Mr. Gavin? It's come down to this, has it? Phoenix Wright? Order! I will have order! Mr. Payne? Yes, Your Honor. I believe this court has been left with no other choice. Are you prepared to hear Defense Attorney Gavin's testimony? But as a prosecutor... Very well. We will break for 10 minutes, after which Mr. Gavin will take the stand for a cross-examination. Are we all clear on that? Crystal clear, Your Honor. Very well. This will be the final recess for the day. Mr. Gavin and Mr. Wright are both in the judge's chamber. Who would have thought today would have turned out like this? May I? What? Hello, sir. Please, pick a card. What's this all about? Is this one okay? Excellent. I have a message for you. The last hand is about to be played. You will need a trump card to make it. A trump card? The card you have chosen is magical. Use it wisely, and the game is yours. That's all. An ace? don't remember this card from. Hmm? Missing 5th ace. Wait, this blotch of red. Is this blood? You have your trump card. Now it's up to you to cut the deck and draw the truth. My father's fate is in your hands. I know you could do it. This bloodstained card. It's my trump card for finding the truth? Oh boy. I fell deep in thought as my mind raced to understand what it all meant. That girl. I'd seen her recently, but where? It's when I made the connection. Alright, so I think since we're going to be starting Mr. Gavin's testimony next, this is actually a perfect place to stop for now. So I'll get to it next time. Let me make sure to save here. There we go. Cool. Cross-examining. Cool. Yay. We'll see you in the next episode.